Hi, everybody. It's October 11th, 2022. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosrawi. Thank you for joining us. We're here on our regular live show that we do 5 p.m. Pacific time, Tuesdays, every Tuesday, taking your questions and giving general education answers about the U.S. immigration process, a very long, convoluted, and ever-changing experience that millions of people go through, and try our best to try to fill you in on what's going on, so at least to smoothen out the situation for you a little bit. We always have a bunch of questions in the next half hour, but before we start, I want to remind everybody who's watching the live show that we do give away free video consultations. All you got to do is like and subscribe, and in the comment section, write consultation. My wonderful assistant, Katrina, will name somebody every 10 minutes for me behind the scenes, and I'll name them off as winners every 10 minutes. So 3 people to do a live video consultation to discuss your case. It'd be very helpful talking about it private, because here's public. It's hard to really get into stuff in too much detail. You're going to do general overviews. And also, if you're interested in learning about marriage-based immigration, the Fiance visa, the I-130, adjustment of status based on marriage, all that kind of stuff, all you got to do is download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And the great thing about that resource is pretty 40 plus pages with a chart breaking down which process you need to pursue, all this kind of stuff. You're gonna like it, and has a lot of extra stuff in the addendum about translations, about different questions that come up during the marriage green card interview with USCIS, things to practice. It's really a full guide there to start out with, and then contact an immigration lawyer before learn what's going on first, and then contact the lawyer, see what's going on with your case or what you're going to do. But having said that, let's get the ball rolling and get the show started. All right, so I'll take a quick question on YouTube right now. First question, and Rostam Girl asked, my I-130 application was transferred to a different office after 7 months. Now I-131 is for a travel document. There's different types of travel documents. I'm not sure which one this is. They also gave me a new receipt number for the same application. That's weird. That's not typical. Previous receipt number starts with an IOE, and the new receipt starts with MSC. My case always with National Benefits Center from the start. How can they transfer NBC from this group to that group? The reality is they do whatever they want to do, and we have no idea where it actually is, what's going on, what the times are. So there's no real answer other than wait. I'm guessing you file for adjustment of status and file for advanced parole with it. The processing times for that are between 7 to 9 months. So you've been waiting 7 months. As easily could be approved tomorrow. Could take another 2 months. So that's about it. That's the really honest answer I could give you. The whole system doesn't make sense when they transfer stuff here and there, and they're not communicative. It's not exactly why or when this is happening. Who knows? The location might be different. The fact that they give you a different receipt number is very peculiar. But as long as you have a case pending, it's there. That's all we can work with. If it goes over a year or a year and a half or 2 years, or if you need it expedited or get it approved or something like that in a faster fashion, there's no complaints you can file, congressional help, and even lawsuits you can do. So those options are there. You follow up and you say, I also have a pending I-485 based on asylum approved a year ago for NBC, only 3 months. So your I-131, you may be requesting a refugee travel document instead of advanced parole. I don't know. But you have an I-485 adjustment status, a green card case pending for asylum. It's been 23 months. This all comes together now. The fact you had asylum and you're applying for a green card based on that. All this stuff related to asylum is taking double everything else. So whether you're filing for asylum, whether you have asylum, or you're filing for a green card, and you want a document related to that, all of them are taking an extraordinary amount of time, unfortunately. We're seeing massive delays. Now, my office doesn't usually handle asylum cases. We do some adjustments that happen, but there's just delays baked in the cake. If you have asylum, and you want to bring a family member for I-730, those are taking forever as well. So just to be prepared for delays, it's unfortunately, it's normal. It should be abnormal, but this is the situation that we have, and I see it all the time with cases like yours. Unfortunately, that's just what we're dealing with right now. Let me take a quick question on Instagram. Najee asks, hello, sir. Does a 6-month rule for a green card holder mean 6 months stick together, or 6 months separate outside of U.S., like going outside for a month and coming back? So let me break this down really quick. I think what they're saying is you have a green card, and as a green card holder, you're not supposed to be outside the United States for more than 180 days. If you're outside for 180 days or around 6 months, the next time you come in, they could treat you as an applicant for admission. They could question you and try to get into the reason why you're outside for so much. They don't usually do that. It's kind of a waste of time because that happens. But you shouldn't be outside the U.S. for more than 6 months. The second place this becomes a problem is when you file for U.S. citizenship. If you have absences of more than 6 months outside the United States continuously, these are all continuous absences, then makes it harder burden. It becomes more difficult to prove citizenship, or it's easier for the office to deny it, the USCIS office to deny it. Now, if you have multiple absences of 4 months or something, like you're out for 4 months, you come for a week, you leave for 4 months, you come for a week, you're out for 4 months, that itself could be a problem too. Because at the end of the day, they're trying to see that you're a green card holder, you're a resident, and are you living in the United States, or are you really living outside, which is a violation. As a green card holder, you're supposed to be living outside. You apply for a re-entry permit to let them know ahead of time you'll be outside, that kind of stuff. But generally, that's what they're waiting for, and they could do it even if you're inside or you don't leave more than 6 months. They could question on this stuff, but typically you do not want to be out for more than 180 days if you are a green card holder. But thank you for your question. This is some issue that comes up a lot, so I'm glad we got to talk about it. And Sonia asks, is a fiance visa waiting time different for different nationalities? Yes, and primarily it's because how long it takes to get an interview at the embassy. Once a case reaches the embassy system for a fiance visa, some embassies are processing cases very slowly. If you're in Iran, India, Pakistan, 1 year plus waiting to get an interview, and then after the interview, you might still have to wait longer. But if cases in New Zealand and who knows, in Sweden or something like that, where the embassies are processing, they're opening Brussels and Belgium, those happen much faster. Mexico is going to take forever too. So there are time differences. It's not really based on nationality per se. It's more about the country where you're going to have your embassy interview in, and the delays that are existing at the embassy. But thank you for your question, Sonny. Unfortunately, it's a bad situation. A lot of it's delayed. Bobby asks, I'm uploading the documents to the National Visa Center for my wife in Iran. One, does my wife actually need to provide police certificates? So it depends. So when you're going to go through the green card process through the consular system, you have to get police certificates to show that you don't have criminal and arrest history outside the United States. Now, it's based on where you've lived. If you lived any place more than 6 months after the age of 16. So that's what they look at in this kind of situation. Having said that, you may have lived in certain countries like Iran, Indonesia, or there's a couple other countries where the U.S. has said we do not find the documents reliable in that country because we found the government is not, for whatever reason, not acceptable. Iran's one of them, where so they do not need police certificates for Iran. So if you lived in Iran, if you're Iranian, you do not need to get police certificates. The National Visa Center site where you're processing it may ask for it, but you mark the box saying unavailable and say the visa reciprocity chart says not necessary for Iranian cases, and so you don't need to submit police certificates from Iran. Now, if you had arrests or you're in the prison or something like that, you got to get arrest records, which is you definitely need to talk with an attorney to make sure you see what's going on with all that. But you do not need police certificates from Iran. Thank you for your question, Bobby, and good luck on getting the interview. It's gonna be a long wait. GLT asks, my 221G takes almost 6 months and still consular in Montreal is not replying to my emails. My wife is a U.S. citizen. She's sponsored her spouse. What should I do, sir? So 221G happens after interviews. And this is one of the reasons I said good luck to the gentleman in the previous question, because not only will it take forever for his wife in Iran to get an interview at the embassy in Iran, in Canada as well, which has long delays, but when you're from one of these countries in particular, after the interview, you might get stuck with the 221G administrative processing notice that says we need to do more checks and background checks and processing and all this kind of stuff. And so the issue that comes up with that is it takes forever, sometimes takes years after the interview to actually get the appointment. So in this kind of case, if you've been waiting 6 months, you can wait longer. I just had a case, it was a fiance visa in Turkey, did the interview. I'll make a note of that. I want to tell my team about that, or I love the lawyers I work with, that I finally got admin processing done. But we had the interview in Turkey for a fiance visa in January. And they finally, right now, October, they sent a notice saying administrative processing is over 10 months later. Now, this was really hard on the couple because it took forever for the I-129F, the first part, to be approved. It took another year to have the interview scheduled. And then it took 10 months after the interview. And these people have been together for years and years, and they can't even come and get married and live together. So it's been an awful situation. But they got this done. Now, I told them if you want, you could file a lawsuit against the government. After 6 months, usually recommend doing that. We've added a team member that helps people file these lawsuits. If you're interested, email the office, info@jqklaw.com. But we filed these lawsuits for delay at the embassy for making a decision. If you've been out it's taking more than 6 months, to force the embassy to make a decision. It's not forcing them to approve it, it's pushing them to make a decision. And a lot of times, almost every time, it leads to success. But it's filing a lawsuit, there's costs and headache associated with the decision you got to make. if you want to do it. Before you do it, you should take steps to try to resolve it. Contact the embassy, contact the congressperson to talk with them on your behalf to show you've tried to fix the situation. But a lawsuit may be the way to go if you're tired of all this waiting. And if you're interested in that, just email the office and we'll talk with a team member who would help you with that. But thank you for the question, JOT. Silty30 says, is it true that we can't get our visa stamped in the United States? Yes, it's true. There's no visa stamping in the United States. Visas are issued by diplomats in embassies. And so if you're inside the United States, they don't issue it here. You have to leave and go to a U.S. embassy or consulate abroad. They're the ones who issue visas because the point of a visa is to give you permission to enter the United States. If you're already here, they just don't do that. I'm going to take a quick question on Instagram. Django asks, what if you came here on an F1 student visa, graduated, then want to stay through a green card process? Will working outside of the campus affect your green card status if you marry your girlfriend? So I assume when you're saying working outside of campus, you mean working without authorization. So there's a violation there. It's excused as long as like the government hadn't asked you about it and you lied. So we don't want fraud in there, but that probably didn't happen. If you marry your girlfriend, there was a violation like unauthorized employment. It is possible to still win and get the green card, but your girlfriend has to be a U.S. citizen. If you marry a U.S. citizen, unauthorized employment is forgiven. However, be careful. If you got a job and used fake documents or you, for example, lied and said you're a U.S. citizen, then that becomes a problem. So you know what? Lucky for you, DBA Django on Instagram. My great assistant Katrina said you're the winner of a free video consultation from a raffle. So take a screenshot of you're watching this so I know it's you, it's your username in the top right corner where you're seeing this, and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. Again, that's info@jqqlaw.com, and we can have a private video consultation with you and your fiance to see what's going on and talk more detail there that we cannot talk here. For those just tuning in, watching the live show, we give away free video consultations. We have 2 more left in 10 and 20 minutes. We're going to name these people. All you got to do is like and subscribe wherever you're watching. And in the comment section, write consultation, and we'll name somebody off. My assistant will name stuff behind the scenes to me, and we'll get it in. Hopefully, talk in private. And if you haven't already interested in a marriage green card case, then Django, I recommend you do this as well. Download the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide at marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And so you can learn about the process, but talking to a lawyer in person after reviewing the guide is the best thing to do. Thank you for that. Faith asks, Section A, Faith asks questions very specific to a form. I cannot give case-specific information without being the preparer of the case, so I can't answer these kind of questions that are very specific on how to answer a specific form, but thank you anyways. Next question, Riedel asks, I'm married in the Philippines. How hard is it to bring her to the United States? I'm a retired Army. Well, it's hard. It's hard in the sense it's not a hard or easy thing. You got to go through the steps. It depends on your financial situation. It depends on how you can prove your relationship is real. And the hardest part really is the delay. The U.S. Embassy in Philippines is really backed up. So getting a marriage green card case out from there could easily take 2 or 3 years. So be prepared for the long haul of how long this is going to take. But it's not hard or easy. And got to talk in private about it. And we do have a special program where if you're active duty, military, U.S. military, or retired, if you have proof that you were in the military, we do offer free consultations. Our consultations are pretty expensive usually, but we do offer free consultations. All you got to do, Rito, is email me, CC your spouse, so we can all be in the communication. Send proof that you are a retired Army, and we'll set up a free video consultation to talk about it in private. DJ Fast asks, what happened after you submit your financial support for K-1 visa? Well, you submit your financial support during the interview, so it's not just the financial support, it's also the civil documents, and then you wait for the interview decision to happen. So that's that. We had another question here about the IA-24. I wanted to mention that really quick. Nebita asks, my IA-24 is taking forever. The IA-24, I wanted to talk about this, is this particular type of form that's used when someone has a case in the United States and they actually need to transfer the case outside. So you might have got your green card here, but your spouse is overseas, or you accidentally start your case intending for it to go to the embassy, but you marked on form I-130 or I-140 that you want the case to be done in the United States. You have to file this form IA-24 and have the case transferred out. It's a horrible form because you're wasting money on something that should be easy to do, but also it takes forever in a lot of cases. And so this person, Nebidita, says it's taking forever. That's a problem we have with IA-24s. Typically, I see it takes 6 to 12 months. And even once it's approved, the government does not third of the time, does not do what they're supposed to do with the approval. They're supposed to send the case to the National Visa Center. They don't do it. So in addition to the processing time that we see for the I-24, there's additional time contacting the government and pushing them to actually do what they said they did in the approval. So it takes forever. Having said that, we just got an I-24 approved. It's a record. I wish I could say I did magic. It was something I did, but it's just the way it goes. I-24 was approved for an I-130 being sent to the U.S. Embassy system, National Visa Center for a Mexican couple that are in Mexico. 4 weeks. We submitted the I-24. 4 weeks later, the I-24 is approved. It hurts when I say that for a lot of people because they're waiting. I have other clients. All my other clients are waiting 3, 4, 5, 6 months plus. Still nothing happened. I'm really happy for this couple, but it just goes to show the inconsistency in the processing timelines of USCIS, where one takes 1 week, 1 month, and one takes 1 year. Now, the case hasn't been fully transferred yet. We just got the approval notice. Who knows how long it'll take to actually transfer it, and maybe additional months there. But it's a crazy situation, and that's that. We have a question from I am Mari asks, what do I do once my priority date is current F4 September 2002-45I? If you're in the United States, which if you're using 245ER, you should file for adjustment of status. But I can't say you should because I don't know all the details of your case. And you need to see if the affidavit support's good, if the admissibility issues are good, if you truly satisfy all the INA 245I requirements. So that's something you should talk with an immigration attorney in private about. 245I cases are complicated. It's hard to understand. You got to have a real advocate that can help you because you never know if the USCIS officer that you're dealing with is going to be able to even know what's going on with 245I. It's a hard thing. I had one 245I case, and 245I is this. They had a rule in the 90s where they said even if you came into the U.S. without authorization, we'll still let you apply for a green card while you're in the United States and not force you to leave and then come back again, which is typical right now. After 9/11, this stopped. But that special rule that gave the permission to continue the case in the United States without leaving is called 245I. And there's still some people who are still under that rule and are now getting their green cards. It's a very nominal overview of the program, I said. But I remember having a client. It was so sad. This gentleman had come here in 2000. He had the opportunity to file for a green card for like 16 years. But he went to 4 different lawyers, and they didn't know about INA 245I that would give him permission to file for his green card and get his green card for him, his wife, and his child. And so this guy was essentially living under a bridge for years and years until finally he found my review on Yelp, and he contacted me, and he's like, what can I do? It's my situation. And I immediately said, you're 245I, you're good. He couldn't believe it. So we met, talked. 6 months later, got his green card. He was crying. We were crying. His mom was really sick, and she was able to enjoy this process too together. But it was bittersweet because this case should have been done 15 years earlier. There's no reason for it to have taken so long. No reason for this guy not to have a social security number, have a work authorization. His life just got pushed back and affected his health. He had to do jobs that were not that good. It put a toll on his body. Just because the immigration lawyers to talk with didn't know about 245I. So it's a special issue that's really dear to me. I've seen emotional stuff. So it's a really deep thing I'll make sure I want to talk about so you're familiar with it. It's hard to learn on your own what it is because it's so complicated, but it's if you had a case pending, an I-130, an I-140, or a perm petition pending in the 90s, you started it there, and you're in the United States and you overstayed or came without authorization, potentially you could adjust status in the United States. We had a question. Instagram Mike says, how long are I-751 taking in New York? There's no consistent timeline that I can give to you for that. Sonia follows up, what should we do to get a visa immediately in interview day? What can make officer give to people? There's nothing you could do. Just be yourself and talk, and that's about it. There's nothing that makes an officer give AP to people. I think it's like a computer thing that tells them why you need administrative processing. All right, let's go back on YouTube. Love Preet asks, hi, I have a conditional green card. My husband filed for divorce. Can I go to India and come back? It depends on where you're at in the conditional green process. So a conditional green card is if you got your green card, it was issued within 2 years of your marriage date. So if you got married and the green card was printed within 2 years after marriage, you get a conditional green card, which means the green card's valid for only 2 years. You have to file an extension of it. Now, if your green card's still valid and you leave and come back while the green card's still valid, yeah, that's fine. There's risk. You might go to India, the flights might shut down, your green card expires, that's a problem, but generally you can come back. But if you're filing for divorce, if divorce is going to happen, you really should contact your office to schedule a private consultation with one of our attorneys to talk about this, because it becomes one of the trickiest areas of immigration law when you need to file I-751 removal of conditions. higher standards are there. The timelines become an issue. We don't want you to put in deportation proceedings mistakenly. So it's a very tricky kind of thing but you got to be careful with. You got to have good documentation because they're going to mistrust your relationship because you file for divorce, get divorced. The timing of the divorce becomes a problem because for them to approve the case, you have to be fully divorced. So it's really a sensitive thing. You really contact our office, schedule a private consultation with one of our attorneys. Always Kazi will deal with that. He's our expert on. He's a person who focuses on that, and he can help you out with that. But just email our office and we'll do it there. Bobby follows up. Thanks, John. Do I have to put 3 years of income in the Form I-864? Can I just put my current income and also last 2 years? On the Form I-864 affidavit support, when you're filing a family case, they ask for your current income, but there's another set of boxes there that ask for the last 3 years total income on your tax returns. So you need your 2021, 2020, 2019 tax returns, find the total income line and put it there, and that's the full answer to that question. Austin asks, hi, John, how many RFEs can you get from the National Visa Center? There are no limits to the RFE numbers the National Visa Center gives, so that's they'll just keep back and forth. The problem is it's going to be wasting a lot of time, so you just want to go in strong and have a strong case right there. My assistant, Katrina, named Bobby. Bobby just answered your question right now on the family case. I think you have the Rodney case pending. Feel free to take a screenshot of this, email to me to schedule a private consultation. I can't give individual guidance on how to fill out a form any more than just did right now, because then I have to be prepared for the case. But if you want to talk generally about stuff, just send me a screenshot here so I know it's you, and email it to me at info@jqqlaw.com. It's the email list in the bottom of the YouTube page you're watching on, and we can have a private video chat to talk about your case. But thanks for coming on the show. Okay, let me see. We got a couple questions here. I'll take this YouTube one, then we'll go to Instagram. James asks, hi, John. I filed my I-129 for my fiance. This is sort of fiance visa. I mailed my package last October 2020, October 3rd, almost a week ago. I received my letter stating my payment was processed and currently processing. Any idea of current processing times? Yeah, 6 to 12 months, 6 to 15 months, something like that for I-129Fs right now. Deborah Gibson asks, a friend has a 10-year green card. He filed for 2 younger children under 18 and a separate one for son over 21 out of the United States. How long for them to come join the U.S.? The under 18 ones, probably 1 to 3 years. The over 18 one, for child of a green card holder, probably 7 or 8 years if the child stays single. But the timelines drastically vary, give or take 2 or 3 years. It's really hardcore. Let me jump to Instagram really quick. Farhan asks, I got married to a U.S. citizen April 2021. I filed the I-130. How long do I have to wait? It depends on your local office, how long they want to take. Farhan says, I came across the border. Okay. I already received receipt 25 days ago. I'm not sure which kind of case you're talking about, but good luck on that. Owner says, if SN wins green card lottery but was not given interview, will she have a problem applying for tourist visa after fiscal year ended? Maybe. Depends on the officer. It depends on your life situation, the facts of your life, why you want to come to the United States. So maybe, maybe not. That's the best answer I could give you there. All right, Con Candy, do you specialize in VAWA? You know, I'm a California attorney. I'm a California bar. We can't say we specialize in anything, but we have an associate at the firm, a senior associate, always Kazi, who does handle VAWA cases. Depends on the facts of the case and stuff like that. But email our office with the details. I mean, briefly about the details of your case, and we'll see what's going on. If needed, we'll schedule a consultation, see if we can take on the case. But we do handle VAWA now. I don't do it myself, but my senior associate does it. Sochi asks, I'm already out of processing time, already inquired, but it's not approved yet. Yeah, even if your case is taken over time, they still don't care. So that's that. I have several wives. Can I be here at once? No, U.S. does not recognize polygamy, so that's going to be a violation. It's going to be a big problem for you there. John says, dear attorney, can you tell us how long green card holder filing for spouse abroad takes? It's going to take 2 to 4 years, probably. JD asks, can an I-485 case remains pending get approved without prior to be current? Okay, so can a green card case get approved even though the priority date is not current? Priority date is for preference kind of cases. I don't want to go too much into that detail running out of time with retrogression. I've seen it happen. We have one case right now where that happened, and we're trying to reopen it because it shouldn't have been approved probably. But right now, the EB2, EB3 situation is such a hot mess with USCIS. You probably are getting friends who are getting approved. It's a big issue that's going on behind the scenes with USCIS, and they're approving cases that don't have current priority dates. So it's all over the place. That's the best I can tell you, but it does happen. Egyptian Princess, how much do you need for financial support? Well, it depends on what you're talking about, a student visa or a marriage case or a fiance case, or all kind of different things. But assuming you're talking about a marriage case, It depends on the household size. And so you got to find Form I-864P and see your family size, and it'll show how much income is expected from the financial sponsor. Sachi asked, my I-130 was out of processing time, so what should we do? Keep contacting them, contact your congressperson, sue them. There's all the different things you can do. Sal asks, I'm here to give likes because you're helpful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Sal. It's very nice. If you have the time, go to Google, type in JQK Law Firm, and just put 5 stars in the Google review. You don't even have to write explanation, but it helps out a lot having more Google reviews. Just, go to Google, JQK Law. When it pops up on the right side of the screen, just put 5 stars. It would be much appreciated. Amari says, I've been here in the U.S. since 1994. That's really good. Not once in the U.S. They adjust status with fingerprints, no work permits. Okay, so I think, Amari, you are the case of 245I. Is that correct? If you're here, that's good. You need evidence of when you were here and stuff like that for 245I. The work permits are super backed up, so that the delays are normal in this kind of situation. But hopefully, you have all your papers in order and stuff that you're okay. But God bless. I wish you the best of luck in this process. It's just these delays are getting out of control all over the place. So that's just the nature of things we're dealing with. Let's see. Love Princess, thank you. You're welcome. ZBS. My case was documentary qualified, but no interview yet. Was in April. Yeah, it depends on what embassy you're in. I have cases where documentary. I have one case, documentary qualified, January of 2021, parent of a U.S. citizen, just got interview notice for interview in November 2022. So that's 12 months here, 11 months here. Put it together. The math of it, 12 plus 11 is. Let's do the math. 13. Am I doing it? 23. Am I doing this right? Public math is not a good thing to try out on a live show. 23, almost 2 years of waiting after being documentary qualified. It's a disaster, complete disaster, but so we're dealing with. PS says, hi to you. Source says, hi, good sir, good to see you as well. Thank you for everyone who joined. I love coming to the show and talking to everybody and giving these answers. Hopefully it helps. We got so many people every week telling me that the live show helped them a lot through the process. So I'm really blessed to have the opportunity to do this. One of our last questions, Fike asks, how long is the process if apply for a U.S. visa for sister or brother of a U.S. citizen? It takes a long time, 15, 20 years at least for that to go through. It's one of the longest versions, but also depends on what country your brother or sister was born in. They're born in Mexico or the Philippines, it's even longer than if they were born in, Japan or something like that. So processing times are super long, but better to get started now than later. Sometimes people see these processing times and like, oh, it's going to take forever. Might as well not do it. But I have so many cases where people come to me at the end. They're like, we forgot about it for 10, 15 years and just got the approval notice and we're going to the embassy. You need your help. And they hire my office. But the cool thing is, it's like they didn't expect it. And the next level is they may have kids at that point, and these kids might be 5, 10, 15 years old. And all of a sudden, they get a green card, have all the opportunities that exist by coming to the United States. So if you have the opportunity, it's good to file these brother or sister cases. You have to be a U.S. citizen to be able to file for brother or sister. You can't be a green card holder, but the sooner you get it started, the better that it is. And Rick says, hi, sir. My priority date for I-485 EB3 Philippines is current. Is it normal that I'm in CRP? This terminology, immigration lawyers don't use CRP or something like that, but it's pending. It's pending. Yeah, it's just unfortunately it's normal for things to be pending. So just got to wait for it to do, go through its course and see what's going on. If you haven't used an attorney, or if you're using your employer's attorney, it's a good thing to have a private attorney. I'm doing this case right now where most of the time when people get green cards from the employer, they don't hire their own lawyer. They're using a lawyer that the employer has. And the employers usually hire a law firm. And my friends work these places, but their lawyers are handling 10,000 cases, so I have no time to pay attention to you. And I have a boutique small firm, so we get paid attention to the applicant. And they miss out on stuff. So I have one case I'm talking with right now. I was giving a speech at Harvard, and one of the people that was going to school there contacted me. They had the green card application processing, but the lawyer for the company didn't make a file for a work permit while the case is pending. And so now they need a work permit for certain reasons, but they never filed for it. So and there's a deadline of 2-3 months to get the things going that they need, and they were helping to expedite it, but it could have been resolved if they had their own lawyer and their own lawyer guided it. So definitely consult a private lawyer. Feel free to contact our office to schedule a consultation. We could just go over your case, just see what's going on, and to prep you for what's going to happen after you get your green card, how citizenship works out. Develop a relationship with a good immigration attorney that knows you and cares about you, because when you're an immigrant in the United States, the process doesn't end for another 5 or 10 years. Once you get the green card, once you get citizenship, you want to be relatives, your cousin asks questions. You need to have a relationship with someone who knows what's going on and cares about you. It's a really important part of the process. Pia asks, question, I want to know if a Kansas proxy marriage is a red flag. My fiance and I have been dating a year, want to marry before my son is 18 and he is 17 now, so it's easy for him to ride with me. So no, you do not. This is under this question. If your child's about to turn 18, the proxy marriage is a risky thing to do. It's such a new thing that's happening, but proxy marriages are not recognized for green card cases. You have to meet each other after the proxy marriage. Now, the marriage date's going to be before the child's 18, which is good, but I'm not sure how they're going to interpret it based on the proxy kind of stuff. The cool thing about a fiance visa is the child of a fiance can be included in the application package as long as they're under 21 when they had the visa issued and they're entering the United States. So just doing a fiance visa is going to be safer potentially to do than the proxy marriage. Maybe the proxy marriage will work too, because I'm just not sure. I haven't had the situation where the age was so like this. I've had proxy marriages where they get married in like Utah or something like that. And proxy marriage is when you're both not in the same place at the same time. So you have to do a video marriage. Your fiance is like in Mexico, you're in the US, you get married by video. But for the US to recognize that marriage, you then have to meet each other and consummate the relationship and physically see each other before you could consider the marriage valid. I'm not sure how that plays around with the date of recognizing the marriage. It probably is okay, but that's something I need to think about, and it worries me to a point where I would probably just go towards a fiance visa to be safe, because it gives you so much more time in this process. But it's the first time I'm seeing this kind of thing, so I'm hesitant to get too much detail without really thinking about it. So let's leave it at that. Thank you so much, Pia. Feel free to contact the office for a consultation, and we'll take it from there. Thank you for joining. We're always here. We'll be back again next Wednesday, Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time to take your live educational questions only. I appreciate everyone's here. God bless. Be safe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.